And I just want to let you guys know, the link will be in the description as well. November 28th, we will be having our throat chakra. And if you just want to get caught up, the links will also be in the description. We have a bundle for these previous classes that we have put together, but just letting you guys know, we got information for you guys that's really dealing with you, your body, how to access your body, and using your body for what it's for, a magical apparatus, as opposed to, looking at all this other stuff and listening to what other people are saying. You have to find it within yourself, that actual gateway, and we're actually giving you the tools, whether it's through information, through guided meditation, or downright laughter, because laughter is the best medicine. Shout out to Dark Serpent, shout out to Prime Harmonics, my co-hosts and co-conspirators on this actual cosmic global plan. But we are going to finish this thing out, put it back together, and we'll have a whole chakra book for y'all. So I'm really excited what this process is turning into. It wasn't an overnight process. It was a long and daunting process some 5 months ago. Being more than halfway through, I'm just really excited to get these final put it all together. So when people reference, okay, how do you activate the chakras? We can have everything for you. So as master builders, putting all of our brains and thoughts and energies together, we've actually created something much bigger than ourselves. And honestly, I couldn't be more prouder. So Alchemic Academic is the website, or the link is in the description to sign up November 28th, or check out the previous classes that we have, just to see if it's something that you may be interested in. All right. And so we are coming off a new moon, and hopefully you guys have kind of retreated and kind of really set those intentions, get some alignment. I spent all day yesterday in alignment, getting things aligned, getting things clean, doing a lot of writing, doing a lot of preparing, actually studying, cracking open books. And one of the books that I really wanted to crack open, I really wanted to talk about this, but I never had the time, was Saturn. This is a great book. Bobby Hemmett put me onto it. However, and it's I really wanted to talk about it, but I just never had the time or the perfect place. But yesterday was the perfect time and the perfect place, because I said I wasn't dealing with the computer at all on the new moon, so I did not cut my computer or laptop on at all. I just specifically dealt with books and things of that nature. So I'm reading this book, taking notes. So the book is A New Look at an Old Devil. I suggest everybody get this book if they interested in understanding Saturn in a chart, if you interested in astrology. So I know that a lot of people are not interested in astrology, based upon there's so many people lying about it. Shout out to Jabri, right? Because I really do respect Jabri, because he's one of my students, and we'll talk about the class a little later at the end of the video. But he had just sent me a link through the text about fixed star astrology is actually the root of constellation astrology. So a lot of our teachings is kind of backwards. So me pushing my channel to be more centered on fixed star astrology is really helping me understand astrology even deeper, because you can get taught the constellations, to which you might think that's what it is, but if you seeking something more, it's actually dealing with this fixed star astrology. So I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. If y'all really interested in this book, the link is in the description. And I'm referencing books, I'm referencing things, because we need to really get a more understanding of what we just spouting out. Now, people say all types of shit: manifestation, higher self, divine feminine, manifestation, but when it gets to the crux of what it actually means, that takes a lot of investigation, family. If you referencing your higher self, if you referencing psychic functions, that takes a lot of learning and understanding, because that's kind of how the world is. If we ever wanted to learn anything, and albeit people are naturally psychic, But if you like, I'm not naturally psychic. You know what I'm saying? I'm just not, walk into a room and guess your age and guess how many people you had sex with or nothing like that. I pride myself on actually scholarly study. But part of that is actually dealing with the psychic processes or developing those psychic processes over time for a long, extended amount of time, to which you actually will develop those psychic. You have to have a concept to move forward, and that concept is actually handicap. Now, in the book, or I didn't read about handicap, that really came when I was in the shower, like, oh shit, handicapped. And so I really want to keep that theme as we kind of work through this video, where you're kind of moving through and trying to understand like how to develop your psychic experience, because Saturn is in the constellation of Capricorn, which is his home constellation, right? It rules Capricorn sidereal and is going to be there for a while. So this energy is very important. Saturn talks about limitation. So a real world application of Saturn and limitations is that like a lot of cities and states in America and abroad are going through what they call literal lockdowns, right? So does that mean that your world stops? Right? Does that mean that your world stops? Does that mean that your world quits? Excuse me. Or does that mean that things will continue as normal? Things will even get better? Because of course, at a certain level, people are not even going to be staying in the house. But then at another level, people who are in the house, people who are working from home, people who are going to school from home, people who feel like they don't even want to leave or go anywhere, that's perfect, because what that presents is a handicap, to which that handicap allows you to tap into your psychic process. It doesn't, having the freedom and the perfection of life will not incur psychic phenomena. Okay? So when you reference Saturn, you're referencing pain. You're referencing karma. Why do you think that they reference these things? Because these are the things that wake us up. Okay? These are the things that wake us up. Now, we do two things. So the Lord of Karma, the Lord of Gifts. We're referencing Saturn, Sarma. We do two things when we are dealt with afflictions. We either cry about it or we learn from it. We either cry about it or we learn from it. And it's very subtle, family. It's very subtle. People will complain about shit all the time, right? All the time, complaining. Why do they complain? Because they haven't learned from their pain. They still live in their pain, and that is the karma that Saturn is talking about. Because it's giving you that pain sometimes early, right? Saturn hit me early. Saturn hit me early and hard. 19 years old. Take your ass to jail, right? Then when you go to jail, don't just kick your feet up. We're going to give you the worst CO in the state, Officer Franklin. If y'all are from Ohio, y'all know about Officer Franklin, right? And the way that the COs was, they work 5 days a week. So you ain't get different COs. You got the same pissy motherfucker every day, right? Literally like your dad. Okay? Telling you to make your bed. But they ain't have to tell you to make your bed. They only gonna tell you to make your bed if your bed not made, right? To which my 19-year-old mind wanted that attention, needed that father figure in his life to correct him, to which everybody in the joint making a bed, I'm the fucking exception. I'm gonna go to chow with my bed all fucked up, you know? I come back, my whole area trashed. All right, clean it up. Next day, wake up, go to chow, come back, area trash. This went on for 2 weeks. It got bad. Send me to the hole, come back. All right, me and him is at a war now. You feel me? But do y'all realize all I had to do was make my bed? None of this would happen. You feel me? But I didn't learn from pain. I didn't have enough pain yet. I think the most painful thing, because I went to the hole for like 2 weeks after this, but I didn't really care. But in that 2 weeks, I really learned the lesson, and I got to get to know Franklin, and Franklin was rather cool. You feel me? Didn't even bother people for real once you got past that threshold of just making up your fucking bed. Okay? So Saturn, that's Saturn. You do the thing that you're not supposed to do just for that attention. Wait a second. Y'all gotta understand, y'all not doing it consciously. You're doing it unconsciously. Cause 10 times out of 10, you never got the love from your father. Right? So that creates a toxic need, to which you might see it in your kids. They may only respond to negative attention, to which the positive attention, if they never got it, they don't seek it. They only get attention when they're doing bad things. When you're like, sit down, shut up, you feel me? That's the attention. And we need that attention. Okay? So a lot of times it don't hit y'all very young. It only hit y'all when y'all like 50 plus and y'all did everything that society wanted y'all to do, and y'all never did what your soul wanted you to do. Boy, Saturn hit you like a ton of bricks. Wow, bam, 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 bam. And then the people that you grew up, guess what they start doing? They start dying. Oh, God. Listen to me, though. I done dealt with death twice over. You know, Saturn rules Capricorn, but Saturn also is the personification of the Grim Reaper with the sickle. So death, love, early, crippled me, debilitated me. Death hit me so hard, I figured I would go crazy. Honestly. You know what I'm saying? I felt like, you know, and imagine the repetition of prison, death, poverty, confusion, loneliness. Just a recipe for awakening, family. Awakening for a recipe for awakening. Being able to get that negative energy at an abundance and be 80 years old now. I could show y'all my medicine cabinet. It's straight like an 80-year-old man. You understand? I vibe with the older people more than I vibe with people my age because I'm psychologically mature. They say you don't get psychologically sound until you about 80. Meaning that you go most of your life being confused out here. Because pain is supposed to be learned from. Matter of fact, if you experiencing it, it's there for a reason. It is no excuse to be pessimistic. So what happened for me? What clicked for me? I realized that it couldn't get no worse than what it actually was at. It couldn't get no worse for me. Like, honestly, every day is a bonus. Because I've been through the sludge and the mud and the crap and the fire, and it never worked out for me. And I say that to y'all who have the positive past and the great dad and the great mom, but you still complaining. You're still not happy. And I juxtapose that with anybody on the planet that is never about the external, it's never about the lineage, it's never about the money at any moment. All of these concepts are made up to whereas you deal with your handicap, you deal with your true self in relation to your body, in relation to your higher self at all times. See, this is Saturn. because Saturn deals with the skin, deals with limitation. But the skin and limitation in time is not the end of the world unless you want it to be. Meaning that you get old and die. Well, there's a lot of people that were young and died. So you're not even guaranteed to get old and die. To which you have to understand this holistic plan of this whole entire thing, because I can imagine being around people for years and years and years and just be like, oh, well, they dead. Let's move on, meet somebody else. To which that concept causes a lot of pain. Let's go back, because it's easy to get sidetracked off of this. But if you stay on this understanding of pain and learning from it, it's really easy to understand Saturn. However, that's the work. To which, if you think death is death, then that's pain, that's loss, that's sadness and, grief. To which, if I say they transitioned and now they are free from the bondage of the body, to which you will be free from that bondage one day as well, then you should throw a celebration and have a feast and offer water and offer ancestor money and things of that nature. As opposed to thinking that they're dead and you'll never see them again or whatever the case may be. So all of these things are very, very important when dealing with the mindset of a Saturnian. Because when you are referencing Saturn, you're referencing a psychic process. Now, this is very mature. This is very sobering. This is very difficult. If you are not a natural psychic, and I know people just want to be a natural psychic, what I mean is that you can actually meditate into some psychic powers. You can meditate into self-realization. You can meditate into your higher self. You can meditate into channels. To which you can't be out running and seeing what this person doing and that person doing and trying to get this bag and trying to get that bag and trying to post up on here and do this and do that and do this and do that and do that. And then we get back to your psychic functions. You like, man, I've been busy as hell, hood. I've been ripping and running, doing this and that. Okay. They reference Saturn returns a lot. Saturn returning is the self returning, is the soul returning, it is the psychic functions returning, to which you'll notice that if you are to recognize that you have a higher self, you are limited to the body. The body can move, but you can't move in the body. You get that? You understand that? However, the deeper level of the self is that the self can travel all over the universe, all over outside of the universe, through the universe. It can create a whole nother universe if it wants to. It's unlimited. It's unstoppable. Now, peep what I said, though. I said that the self is unstoppable, unflappable, is unbounded, but is limited to your human body. Wait a second. See, that's a conundrum. But this is also a psychic process, to which you understand that your psychic processes is not your body, but the care of your body allows for your psychic processes to flourish and develop. Okay? However, in order to establish a holistic balance, or to establish divinity, is not, and I always be talking to people like, don't put me on no damn pedestal. Don't put yourself below me. Right? Don't imagine that shit. That's not true. And don't put yourself below nobody. Don't do that. You are divine within your holistic understanding of yourself. It's not what I say or what I feel or what I think or even what I know. I could have seen you stripping or something like that. It don't matter. I could see you in the back alley doing something strange for a piece of change. It does not matter. One can become whole within. Understand that. You can become whole within. And, you know, Susie Sue back in the alley doing something strange for a piece of change, well, she's found herself. And I tried to embarrass her, and she blessed me and anointed me with some holy water, and now I'm a part of her coven. Yeah, it just switched the whole dynamics. She's sacred. I worship her. You talk about Susie Sue from the back alley that was doing something strange for a piece of change? Yes. For I was blind, now I see, brother. Sister. Y'all gotta understand this. And I can't come at y'all from no other angle or no perspective. Ain't nobody anoint me. Ain't nobody initiate me. Ain't nobody say, you got the keys now, kid. The reason that I'm here, the reason that I keep that hand up and keep energy at bay is because I found my soul, to which I'm able to come at y'all from a different angle. I come from a soul perspective because I know Kyrie. Kyrie was in prison at 19. Didn't even know left from right. I was dumb as a doorknob. Literally. Didn't know nothing. Like, where was I going to know anything? So now, when I'm talking about Saturn or talking about divinity and things of that nature, that was a inner process, to which I offer that to y'all. I try to teach that to y'all, because how would it look when you do it? A fucking amazing. However, y'all be still looking for people to teach y'all and guide y'all to self, and I'm just saying it don't work like that. So here I am trying to provide some keys to open these doors to your divinity. And the first key that I offer you is the key to absolve the fear within your heart. Because y'all moving off y'all fear as if it gives you movement, but you have to move off of your psychic processes, because your limitations are there to teach you to fall back. And if you wonder, like, okay, how do I manifest the life of my dreams? You fall back and you engage with your higher self. You think your higher self is like, girl, you got to save up $15,000 before you talk to me. What that credit score looking like? Is that how you doing the ritual? Why is you lighting a candle with your left hand? Shouldn't you be lighting candles with your feet, spinning around 360? Oh yeah. Matter of fact, before you talk to me, this is your higher self talking to you. The irony of it, because the shit that y'all do, right, makes no sense. Like, make sure that you have 2,000 subscribers before you holler at me, right? Like, who gives a shit about none of the shit that people be talking about? If you really sat and thought about it, it's all perpetuated by fear and ignorance. Because the subtle personal relationship to self is the question or answer of wholeness. Period. Y'all, I know how I sound. I get it. That's why you probably gonna listen to this. You gotta listen to it again or something like that, or read the article, because as much fun as I had researching this, I'm having even much more fun expressing it or explaining it, because I hear myself sounding crazy, right? But I also hear myself making sense in the future, because who do you follow? Who do you listen to? Who leads you? Who guides you? I say, if it's not your higher self, then you following the wrong motherfucker. And if you be like, well, I do follow my higher self, well, give me the source documents in relation to what your higher self is telling you. And you'd be like, well, give me your source documents of what your higher self is telling you. Hoodmystic.com. Check the library out, the YouTube videos and things of that nature. I ain't say none of this shit. I ain't saying nothing now. I know who Kyrie is. Kyrie need to sit down and pay attention. Kyrie knows not of what I'm bringing forth through these conversations. And the problem of communicating and coming across is because two things. Kyrie wants to always step in without listening. He wants to speak and be heard, because that's what the ego does. To which I always have to sit him down and just be like, yo, shut the fuck up. Because you'll be saying things about our future that ain't even true. He don't even know where we're going. All he can do is be afraid, because that's what he was taught. When you grow up, when your generations, like, man, my family come from Arkansas. And we ain't go from Arkansas to Ohio because, you know, it was just so beautiful in Arkansas that we just migrated up to Ohio because, you know, we had a wonderful opportunity. My family had to actually escape from Arkansas through Kentucky, through the goddamn Ohio River, through Cincinnati, up into Akron, where we settled from escaped slaves. From escaped, kidnapped prisoners of war. Let me be clear. So that passes on, family. That don't just disappear because, you know, you just don't disappear. These mythologies and these traumas that we come into these families, they will not disappear by anything other than a supernatural means. To which the work that I'm doing is actually inspiring the energies that have transitioned, because not even they understood the power of their higher selves. To which you have to grasp the higher self before you transition, because when you transition, you have the predominant attitude that your life is over. Even though your life isn't over, it's trillions of energies and entities in the astro whose life is clearly continuing on. They still having thoughts, movements, dealing with their descendants, but legit feel like they dead, or that their body is. And this is the reincarnation. This is why we reincarnate and we lose everything. Like it's like a whirlpool. It's like a black hole that kind of sucks you in. So we have to then learn to enjoy our stay within the matrix, because we are here. If you weren't supposed to be here, you wouldn't be here. You'd be somewhere else. To which, when you think that you're getting out of the matrix, guess where you end up at? In the matrix. This is the mythology. If you get deep into the mystery schools and deep into the secret societies, they literally tell you there is no escape. To which you have to make the best of your reality, and you don't make the best of your reality by picking out a cute outfit, you know, having all the girls go crazy, right? You figure this shit out simply, very simply, by becoming whole. To which a lot of y'all as individuals hoping that clout is going to save you. Clout is only going to keep you for a small amount of time satisfied. To which when that clout disappear, where are you grounded at? So another thing, especially dealing with the moon transiting from Capricorn into Aquarius, you are creating your reality, whether you know it or not. Pain will have you creating more pain. Did you learn from pain? You absorb that pain, resolve that pain, and you realize that Saturn, with the sickle, he's clearing the garden. Google it. Saturn in a sickle and gardening and clearing that old old foliage of seed sowed that we know not. We was trying to plant corn, but we ended up with a damn apple orchard. So now you have to reevaluate what you are now planting. Saturn transiting in the Capricorn. Very simple stuff. Off of a retrograde. In its home constellation. Meaning that it becomes its true self. Is the Grim Reaper. The Grim of the Grim. The Reaper of the Reaper. But if you look at it at a human level, you get scared and frightened. But if you look at it at an esoteric level, you just understand the natural process of gardening. You do not garden over top of old last year's foliage. You just don't do it. You clear it out. A let it in. I'll clear it out. Come on. A let it in. I'll clear it out. Clear that shit out. Simple. And then you plant the seeds, and I know that shit sounds simple. It only sounds simple because I'm saying it. Because before I said it, you was still planting old ass seeds over old ass foliage. You did not clear out your garden. Come on now. You still planting the same old shit of whatever story you told yourself yesterday. But it's a new moon. It's a waxing moon. It's time for new energies. It's time for new planting. You either get with it or you get lost. Because you can only create negative experiences in your life up until you find the higher self. Then when you find the higher self makes it almost damn near 99.99999% impossible for you to create negative realities. To which if we, as human beings, and I know this sounds far-fetched, but I ain't saying it for now, I'm saying it for the future. When human beings discover this is the irony of it all, right? Imagine how ironic it is that all of the shit that we was doing was for not, that the reality was literally us tapping into our souls and our higher selves and bringing that forward. All this black shit, all of this white shit, all of this man shit, all of this woman shit was a waste of energy. The deepest thing that we could have ever done was tap into our higher self. Because that begins to be a conscious creation event. You do not create negative events if you can help it. However, when you are unconscious to the fact that you are sowing the seeds of your life, nobody is doing it. Only when you lose control and put a negative result and you live in a negative result, I mean, let's just be real. It has to be somebody else's fault. It just has to be. And I'm not being facetious. I'm being real. If you're in a negative situation, it's somebody else's fault. You would never create a negative circumstance in your life, not knowingly and willingly. Okay, so understanding this is getting back on the fucking dragon, getting back on top of the horse. Because if you try to let that horse ride you, y'all not gonna get far. You're not gonna get far. So it's very simple though, because it's the Lord of gifts and the Lord of karma. The pain is just there to keep you sober enough, to keep you mature enough to tap into your higher self. Once you tap into your higher self, game over. I guarantee you, you get your money back, guarantee. All the money that you spent on this video, I guarantee you get it back. If once you connect to your higher self, you then create more negative events. Don't tell me you've realized your higher self, realized your guides, realized your ancestors, and now you just keep manifesting negative environments and negative circumstances in your life. Tell me it works that way. And I promise you, I'll give you all the money you back that you ever spent on this video. I'll give it back. Guaranteed. Because it's real easy to look at this and be in this game and look at the news and talk to your family And I'll tell you one better, to listen to these spiritual people nowadays. Listening to these spiritual people nowadays, ain't it a bummer? Can I get some feedback on the chat? Like, do y'all be listening to spiritual pages now, getting bummed out? Like, are we no longer allowed to be inspired? Are we no longer allowed to tap into higher forms of consciousness? Do we all just have to be in this doom and gloom fear state? And I'm just like tired of it. I be trying to listen, but it's just like, damn, y'all is not really spiritual. Y'all is not really whole. And I tell you, you do not get your spiritual clout off of subscribers and views. Wait a second. Because I said that too fast and y'all ain't hear me correctly. I said you do not get clout out here off of subscribers and views. You get clout in finding yourself, finding your soul. Do y'all understand that? Do that make sense? Y'all, like, these spiritual people is very scary. Very, very scary, man. And let's just move on.